On the 13th of September 2022, an interview between Tony Gonzaga and President Bongbong Marcos was posted online. In this interview, Marcos defended his father's declaration of martial law because of the two fronts of the communist insurgency and the Islamic separatists, which were led by Nur Missouri. Marcos says it was necessary for the government to defend itself against these rebels.
Martial law was declared because of the wars, the two wars we were fighting on two fronts.
That is?
And that is in the countryside, the NPA, CPP NPA was fomenting revolution. They wanted to bring down the government through violent means. So the government had to defend itself. The second front was the secessionist movement down in the south, led by MNLF and Chairman Nur Missouri at the time. He started that uprising, the secessionist movement. And that eventually turned into violence and essentially war. That was even supported. It's the reason that my mother went to Libya, because Libya was supporting the separatist movements here in the Philippines
during that time.
Sure. Those were the dangers and the perils that the country was facing.
Just 2 days later, on the 15th of September, Bongbong addressed the opening of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament. In this address, he mentioned Missouri not as a terrorist but as a person of note. He also referred to the separatists as noble and brave rather than as terrorists whose activities needed to be and were rightly opposed by government forces.
Let us not forget the chairman of the MNLF, Chairman Nur Missouri, and all the distinguished guests that we have here with us today on this very solemn and important occasion. I am, of course, very pleased to be here with you this afternoon to witness the opening of the session of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority Parliament. My congratulations to all that have been involved. To the newly appointed members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, we would not have witnessed this glorious unfolding of history without you. We set our feet before this place and herald the triumphs that you have won through courage, certainty, and noble bravery. The diverse representation now of the BTA speaks volumes of your answer towards that call for unity, of shared responsibility, and the invitation to advocate peace and development in the Bangsamoro region.
Glorious and noble unfolding of history, triumphs they have won through courage, certainty, and noble bravery. Is Marcos completely unaware of the history of MNLF and its offshoots, the MILF and Abu Sayyaf? The fight has always been for independence because the Moros do not see themselves as Filipinos. In fact, the insertion of a clause into the Bangsamoro Basic Law reiterating that the Bangsamoro people are citizens of the Republic of the Philippines was seen as contentious and was opposed by the Bangsamoro Transition Commission. And more than that, Ibrahim Murad, the chief minister of the BARMM, has said that decommissioning the MILF is not surrendering and that they have not given up on what we used to fight for. What did they fight for? What have they always fought for? Independence. For the whole of Mindanao to be seceded to them as their ancestral domain. That is what they will always be fighting for. And now the Philippines has a terrorist nation within its midst full of people who do not and never will consider themselves to be Filipinos. This is not something to be celebrated.